All right, so unless I'm mistaken, welcome everyone. Sorry, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Antrea community meeting. Today is April's 25th in the US, and I guess April's 26th in China. I believe, unless I am mistaken, we have a single item on the agenda, and it's Chu that wants to present is designed for IPsec certificate-based authentication. So, Chu, are you ready to present this?
Yes, thank you, Anthony. So I will share my screen. I think you can see it.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so thank you all for this opportunity to share the design review for IPsec certificate-based authentication. And I will get started. So the motivation is that currently Antrea IPsec support can only use pre-shared keys, and it's managed manually. So it's too limited for enterprise networks, and the OVS toolkit already supports authenticating tunnel endpoints using standard certificates. And for Antrea, we only need to manage the certificates and load them to each node. So the OVS toolkit will be responsible for monitoring and configuring the key daemon. So yeah, so since for Antrea, we only need to find a way to request and issue the certificates and configure them to each node. And here is the certificate format for each node. So as you can see that the important in the certificate, we should pay attention to the common name section, and the OVS monitor IPsec script will extract the common name section and configure the IPsec.conf to the key daemon. So it is critical. And also we can see that for the extension section, we mark the key usage to IPsec tunnel. This is not yet required for IPsec or for OVS, but I think it's a good practice as this is a standard key usage. So we can use IPsec tunnel to mark this key usage. And basically this is a standard X509 certificate. And for OVS configurations, we need to start the other config fields of the Open switch. Basically, we need 3 fields. One is a certificate for the node and its corresponding private key. Also, we also need to start the root certificate for authentication purpose. We also need to configure the tunnel configurations. Previously, for preferred shared keys, we configure each port with a PSK and the exact pre-shared key in the options. But using certificates, we only need to set the remote name of the peer worker nodes. The remote name should match the common name in the node's certificate, as I showed earlier. Yeah, so that's all we need for the obvious configurations. And the next thing is that we need to find a way to request and issue the certificates. So so there is a problem is that as uncharged pods cannot mount their own certificates individually as they are managed by daemon set. So yeah, so it's also not secure to save all the issued certificates and their private keys in one secret and load them in the daemon set as a volume. So I think it's not secure. And for most cases, so we can use self-signed certificates for the authentication. So I think it's trivial to issue a new certificate without processing them in the Kubernetes storage database. And also Kubernetes provides stable certificate signing request APIs. So it fits nicely with the controller and the agent pattern of Antrea. So that means the agent can create a certificate sign request through the Kubernetes API, and the Antrea controller can approve and sign it by the CR, and then Antrea agent can get the certificate through the status and save them as files in the node. So for the root certificates, Antrea controller can generate a self-signed root CA and save it and its private key as a secret. Meanwhile, it can also save the certificate in a config map so that Antrea agent can mount it as a volume. So this is what the CSI API looks like for our use case. And as you can see that for the in the spec section on the left, so we have the PM encoded CSR, and the certificate request contains the common name of the node. And also we must also specify the signer name. I'm not sure for the naming of the signer, so I just name it Antrea.io signer here. And the usage, as I said before, is IPsec tunnel. It's for IPsec tunnel. Yeah. So once the certificate signing request got approved, we can see the status in the condition field. It said it was automatically approved by the Antrea.io signer, and then the next step, the controller will send the certificate and update the certificate section in the status. So there is a subtle issue there is that maybe it's not an issue, but the by design, so the approved, denied, or failed requests will be automatically deleted after 1 hour. So this is Kubernetes behavior. So we must pay attention to the controller or controller in the Antrea agent to make sure we do not need to issue new certificates as the existing one is still valid. And also we need to configure the correct callback for Antrea controller and Antrea agent. For Antrea controller, as you can imagine, we need to give it permission for list and watch the certificate signing requests APIs. And the more important, we need to assign permission for the approve and sign verbs to Antrea.io signer. Yeah, the signer name as I said earlier. So it will make sure that the Antrea controller will only sign, approve and sign the requests with the desired signer name. It will not touch any other CSRs with other signer name. And also, as Antrea controller need to save its root CA and private key in the secret. So we need to allow Antrea controller to create secrets and also update the secret with name Antrea exec -CA. Yeah, and for Antrea agent, it will need to allow it to create and modify the certificate signing requests. Yeah, that's for the RBAC. And next is for certificate renewal. So so from my understanding, I think there are 3 cases to renew the certificate. So one is that the signed certificate is about to expire, so we can determine it from the Antrea agent, and we can create new CSR, CRs, and issue the new certificate. Also, it can happen when the Kubernetes node reboots. So if we store the private key in the var folder on the node, so I think it will be deleted once the node got rebooted. And the last is that the root certificate might be changed. So it can happen when the root certificate expire, or the secret Antrea controller manages was deleted manually or by accident. So the root certificate will change. Once the Antrea agent detects the change of root certificates, so it will first check whether the owned certificate still matches the root certificate. If not, I think it will need to request new certificates. During my testing, I found some limitations of the OVS multi-stack script. So it only watches for the OVS DB changes instead of the file content changes. So for certificate reloading, so we can have the following workaround. Firstly, we can maybe generate a random name for the signed certificate, and update the other config sessions so that the script will detect the changes of the certificate name and update and reload the lucky daemon. And also we can also the option 2 is that we can use static names for certificates, but we can add another field to the other configs. For example, we can compute a hash for the private key, root certificate, and the signed certificates, and save a hash to the other config. So the script will also detect changes and update the certificates later. Yeah, so that's the that's the 2 options for the workaround. And yeah, so that's for the certificate renewal, and there's a question I want highlight here for open discussion is that I'm not sure whether the Antrea IPsec container need to be responsible for requesting and managing certificates. So if not, I think it can be handled in the Antrea agent container, and we can mount the same path on the node, so the file will be shared in both containers. So if yes, so we must change the starting script of Antrea IPsec container, and we may need to copy some codes of the Antrea agent and to not for copy code. I think we will still need to compile a binary for. sorry, it's a bit noisy here. So if yes, I think we need to compile a specific binary for the IPsec container, and it will be responsible for issuing and managing the certificates. Yeah, so I'm not sure which one is better. And that's all for my sharing. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Shu, for the proposal. Can you switch to the screen of CSR workflow part? I want to confirm you are proposing actually two options, but these options are only about how we get the root certificate, but the certificate of each node will always issued by this CSR API. Am I right?
I think for root certificates, it will be generated once. It will be generated once upon the first running of Antrea controller. So it will save it as a config map. So the Antrea agent can mount it as a volume.
Okay, you mean
so, yeah.
When it restarts, it could read the secret directly and reuse it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the CSR is just for node certificates.
Okay. So do we plan to take user provided root certificate for signing node certificate?
I have think about that. But I think we can still do that if we put some guides to for example we can so as the certificates saved on the specific path on the node, so we may need user to store the certificates in the specific path. But I'm not sure whether it is a good practice or not.
I think even the way you resolve the restart case, you will store the auto-generated certificate into a secret, right? Then could we just ask user to fill that secret if they have their own?
Yeah, for my design, I think for the node certificate on each node, so we do not need to save it as a secret. So I think it doesn't matter whether we can reuse it or not. So we can create new certificates if it's deleted by accident or the node reboots. So we can always create new certificates for each node. So I don't think we need to save it as secret. And I cannot find a clear way to load the certificate individually to each node.
I mean the certificate you generated for CA.
Yeah, for CA it will be saved. Yeah.
Yeah, you plan to save it to a secret or config map?
I think both. Yeah. For secret we can reuse it. For config map we can allow the Antrea agent pods to mount it.
Why we need Antrea agent to mount it if they can get their certificate from CSR?
For the CSR, the certificate in the status only contains the leaf certificates of the node. But yeah, but you are right. So we can append the root CA to the certificates in the status. Yeah, we can do that. But for obvious configurations, we need a separate file for the root CA.
You mean the certificate field of status is determined by the approver, not Kubernetes?
Yeah, so this is managed by us. Yeah, we can yeah.
Oh,
We can append the root CA to the certificates section, I think.
Yeah, then maybe we can check whether it is recommended to append it in other implementations.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I have another question. Maybe the 7th page or the 8th, I'm not sure. Yes, in this page, this certificate hash value is an OS field or some field?
No. So it's not in the obvious spec. So any changes to the other config the other config fields will trigger the reload of the obvious monitor abstract script. So I think we can just add the hash value to it to trigger the update.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Yeah.
What's the original field name for certificate file? It's
yeah. It's certificate CA cert and private key. Yeah.
Okay. It sounds like using this hash would be simpler because if we use certificate file, we need to take care of cleaning stale files.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have other questions so far. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and sorry, I have another question. I know that Kubernetes Controller Manager has some option to auto approve CSR, and will that conflict with our own signer?
I don't think so. As we define our own signer named here, so the control manager will only approve the CSR request for the specific signers, so it will not conflict.
You mean it will have other signer name?
Yes.
Okay, I see.
and I want get your opinions about the whether which container we should put the logic for managing certificates. So if we keep the Antrea API container as it is, so we can just mount the same path of Antrea API and Antrea agent container, and the Antrea agent can be responsible for managing the certificates. So if not, we may need to modify the script in the Antrea API container. We can compile a dedicated binary for just managing certificates in the container. Yeah.
I assume currently Antrea agent already has some IPsec specific code, right?
Yeah.
Some code written for IPsec. Then probably it is simpler to just have the CSR logic in Antrea agent as well. Because if you have another Go process for this purpose, it will also need to have some certificate, some token, and connection with Kube API, right?
Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. So I think it will also increase the image size.
Yeah, I would agree. We should probably do the service management in Antrea agent. That's my feeling too.
Yes, thank you, Genji.
Yeah, I think it's not a problem. You just use a shared volume between these two containers.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
I mean, probably you can use. I think it's called is a type called empty dir. When you create the volume, right? So it will not be persisting. I think that should be good enough.
Yeah, thank you.
But I think Xu mentioned that he in his proposal, the certificate will be finally persistent in the var run directory, right? The temporary directory. Otherwise, every restart will cause another CSR request. Is this what we wanted? I mean, if we use empty.
Yeah, I think she mentioned that he will just he will not persist the certificate, right? That's my. She, could you confirm?
I think for my design, I want to save the certificates to the var run pass on the node. So
Okay.
so it will help for the agent reboot case. So we don't need to issue new certificates for the container for the pod restarts.
That's only when you create a new pod, right? For example, let me see. What I mean that as long as the pod is not deleted, the empty dir should exist, right, Chen?
Yes, but if you just change config map or if you do any update to the pod or upgrade the pod, it's actually a pod deletion, right? Then the new pod needs to create a new CSR. The case you are talking about should be the pod it should be the container restart case, not pod restart. Actually, pod doesn't really restart. For example, the Antrea agent crashed, process crashed, and only that container is restarted. I think only in that way the empty volume is still there.
Anyway, but you're saying in upgrade case, it will be a new port.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it should be okay to persist.
So
I did have
think-
one question. Can you go back to the RBAC slide, please?
yeah.
Yeah, this one. So for the it seems that on the, sorry, I was looking, yeah, when it comes to the certificate signing request, so the controller can approve, can update all of them, not only the ones, not this entry, the entry above that.
Oh,
For a certificate signing request.
in this.
Yeah, so I guess I'm trying to understand the difference between, I'm trying to understand what the signer's resource is, the one below, sorry. The signer's resource, is it like, who's creating that resource?
Yeah, so I think so this is the standard ABAC for all kind of CRs.
Yeah.
We have sub resource for approve and status, but we still need additional verbs for the standard. So so this means that the Antrea controller can only sign and approve the CSRs with the specific standard name.
Okay, so it's kind of like a specific resource. It doesn't really exist in the Kubernetes API. Okay.
Yeah.
And is there a way for the entry agent, is there a way to constrain what kind of certificate signing request an agent can create? I don't know if it's a security issue, but ideally you would only want to be able to create certificate signing request for the Antrea.io signer. And I guess ideally you would be able to constrain what you can put in the common name field or SAN field, but I guess it's not possible because all the entry agent pods in the daemon set have the same permissions.
Yeah, you're right. I think for create requests, we cannot set constraints for the resource.
Anthony, what's the issue you saw here?
I was just thinking that those permissions were a bit permissive because you can create certificate signing requests for other approvers. I don't know if that's an issue, but
Okay.
I'm just thinking of a case where a node is compromised and the agent token is compromised. You know, we've had discussions in the past about privilege escalation. If the agent token is compromised, and I was wondering if this is considered like an important permission, the ability to create CSRs for, or if it's not really considered like a dangerous permission to have.
I can check this later to see whether we can set constraints for the entry agent for the creating of CSRs.
So when
I think that's a valid concern.
When the controller approves the CSR request, do you have a way to validate the common name?
Yes, yeah. So I think for our signer, we need to make sure the common name section is valid, and we can also check to make sure the node exists, and also we can check the subject author name section, and we can also check for the usages.
Yeah, but
Once they
I mean,
are-
you don't know who created the certificate request, so it can be any node, right? Because all the agents, they use the same token to talk to the Kubernetes APIs. So I mean, you have
Yeah.
once the CSR resource is created, you don't know who created it, which node created it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we we don't know which node creates the CSR, but we can make sure that we will not sign requests for a node which does not exist in the class. I think, yeah.
Does other integration typically upload the CSR manually by user? It seems that from this message, it says automatically approved by Antrea.io signer. Then perhaps there's another way to ask user to upload this CSR. I'm not sure if it's typical to always automatically upload it by program. It sounds like every node actually can have all peer certificates and keys if they want, because even one agent can create its own CSR and gets its certificate. Another compromised agent may issue same request and get a certificate. I'm not sure whether this is a security issue, but is perhaps if we, or just optionally, have a configuration to ask user to upload the CSR when they start the when they deploy, after they deploy Antrea. Could that be an option? And could that avoid issues, security issues by automatic approval?
Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion. So I think we can disable the automatically approve from Antrea controller. So by doing so, we can ask for the users to approve the CSRs. But the problem is that for node reboots or certificates expiration, so we might need also need users to manually approve the CSRs. That might be a subtle issue.
Yeah. I think that's understandable, because if we document that the certificate will not be persistent across node restart, it should be reasonable to ask a user to re-upload new CSR after a node restarts. And I remember Kube Controller Manager has this option to I remember by default it doesn't automatically upload CSR. It will only do that after you enable auto approval option. So it sounds like by default it's safe, but hard to use. But if you want to delegate the permission to the program, it can be configured. So perhaps we could follow the same way.
What does Kube Controller Manager sign CSRs for? Does it sign CSRs for kubelets, individual kubelets, or do you know?
I'm not sure which it is for, but I know there's an option.
Okay. I think that's a good idea, but do you think it's possible to prevent pods from being scheduled on a node until the CSR has been approved? I'm just thinking of a node reboot where the node would reboot and pods would be scheduled to the node, but they would not be able to talk to other pods on different nodes until the CSR is approved. So would there be a way for us to mark the node that is not ready or something like this? Or unschedulable or something like this? Does that make sense? Or
Yeah, I think we can always update node status. I know some other CNIs do report their own status to node status and then mark the node as not ready.
Okay.
If we have the permission to update the node status, yeah. I think that's possible.
Yeah, that sounds a good idea. Yeah. Thank you.
I have another question. It's common name. You mean it's common name, just a node name, right?
Yeah, we can actually we can change it to whatever we want, but it must match the port configurations of the OVS bridge. It must match the remote name. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean the DNS name was a node, right? How could the node validate the certificate if the COM name just node name? I mean, you don't have IP or DNS name in the certificate, right?
I think it's just valid the COM name matches the remote name.
Oh, wait a minute, let me see.
Yeah.
Okay, you mean OpenWSW just do that one?
Yeah.
I see. Okay, got it. Yeah, got it.
All right. Well, I think that was a very comprehensive presentation. Thanks, Joe. Anyone else has any follow-up question on this topic? All right. Thanks again, Chu. I think that is all we had on the agenda. So now is a good time to speak up if there is any other topic you wanna bring up to today's meeting, or any status update you wanna share. Okay, looks like there is no new topic, in which case everyone's gonna get 15 minutes back. Thanks everyone for joining the meeting tonight, and thanks again, Chu, for your IPsec certificate presentation. I'm sure we can follow up the discussion online. Have a good one, everyone, and I'll catch you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.